Hello, I'm Dr. Jester, and welcome to the jungle. Here from PC Gamer. I think you may be aware of this. This came out recently, and it's not new news, but it's good to be reminded of it, especially for what it comes next. Here we go. Gearbox CEO Randy Pitchford, Pitchfork, tells anyone worried about an $80 Borderlands 4 price tag that, if you're a real fan, you'll make it happen, reminding us all the value of choosing not to tweet. Actually, it is a reminder that you should probably choose your words better, especially now that with this message you basically have confirmed to us that the game could potentially end up costing $80. And let me put it this way. Since Borderlands 2, I don't think a single Borderlands game that has been released recently... Was there a remaster? I'm pretty sure there was a remaster with... Never mind. Has been worth, what, $40? Let me put it that way. The pre-sequel, I could not finish that woke garbage. It was insufferable. So... in my, well, logical conclusion, I didn't bother with the... What was it? I forgot the name. There was one that looked kind of like an RPG. I forgot the name. It was non-consequential. It was a... Borderlands stopped being Borderlands as soon as Borderlands 2 finished. And then there was Borderlands 3. Was there something else in between too? I don't even remember. I stopped following it. I just don't care anymore about Borderlands because Borderlands went, well, fully woke. And I don't like being preached upon. But here we have the full message from Randy Pitchfork. Ford. A, not my call. No, hey, you know what? Let me read what the guy said. Randy, this game better not be $80. Don't take that risk. A lot of gamers aren't gonna pay $80 and feed this notion of constant increase of the price tag. You are the CEO. You have some say with the price when it comes to your publisher. And Randy Pitchfork. Ford. A, not my call. No, wait. Not my call. And if you're a real fan, you'll find a way to make it happen. My local game store had Starflight for Sega Genesis for $80 in 1991 when I was just out of high school working minimum wage at an ice cream parlor in Pismo Beach, and I found a way to make it happen. Well, before I go and cover what the PC Gamer, well, paragraph here is trying to suggest, first let me cover what Randy I'm already saying Pitchfork. You know what? From here on henceforth, he shall be known as Pitchfork. Which basically kind of feels like it when dealing with games, especially with the IP Borderlands. Well, anyway. Let me debunk his claim first. First and foremost, the Sega Genesis cart was actually costly to make. You had the publisher, you had the Sega, well, percentage to, you know, to have the game in the console, which if I recall was 30% too. You had the manufacturing costs, and back then, the chips to make that happen, to create that cartridge was very expensive. You had the plastic, you had to print the manual in color most of the time. Sometimes they were black and white, but they're still glossy and nice. And then you had to put it on a store which had a physical place. Today, at least for PC and mostly on consoles as well, you barely have to waste that precious money on securing a store slot or a shelf space. Mostly you're done and your sales are done through, well, an online store, which considerably takes down the cost of manufacturing a chip, which you don't have to do that anymore. Not even for a CD or a Blu-ray or a DVD. You don't have to do that anymore, which takes down the costs of manufacturing and producing the game. You don't actually have, wait for it, to produce the manual and print it. Most of the games don't even have a manual anymore. So, the costs of manufacturing, creating a game, has actually gone down. The problem is, what increased? It's because many of these studios seems to want to increase the production by adding even more money in their mostly misguided way, thinking that it will increase somewhat the quality or guarantee more sales. That's often not the case. Let's look at Shadows, 2 hours of credits. Partially, I think some of that could be, I don't know, the marketing people mixed in. I don't know how they could manage 2 hours of credits, but that's mind-blowing. And compare it to Expedition 33 or Schedule 1. How much money do you think those two games have costed in relation to Shadows? Considerably less, especially now that you don't actually have to, develop your engine. You can do so if you want, but in most cases you can use one off the market. There are multiple ones out there, but the most common ones are Unity and Unreal Engine. You even have the Half-Life, which is Source Engine, and myriad of others out there that you can use, which also helps decrease the cost of production, because you don't actually have to train many people, since most of them their skills can be transferred from studio to studio. For instance, they work on Studio A on Unreal, they can go on work on Studio B while working on Unreal Engine. So the skills are transferable, less training, less time wasted in training your personnel, less money, So in that regard, the prices should reflect all of that, especially with the quality related to Borderlands, which we expect it to be very, very low. So, yeah. But before we continue on the second part of this video, here is a trailer. I'm back, baby. Yeah, right. So, now calling again to the replies. Actually, I forgot about this one. Factually speaking, Pitchford isn't incorrect. Not about the cost of Starflight, at least. Games have costed $80 before. This is just bad writing. Hell, the launch retail price for Neo Geo games ranged from $200 to $300. Again, Neo Geo actually ended up being a failed console, And, yeah. They don't seem to realize that, but anyway, I feel like sneezing for some reason. Anyway. Gearbox. One moment. Time to sneeze. Am I going to sneeze? No. Gearbox boss Randy Pitchford wades back into the Borderlands 4 pricing controversy. Games budget are increasing, is getting gnarly out there. Here's what he said. On one level, we've got a competitive marketplace where people that make those pricing choices want to sell as many units as possible. And they want to be careful about people that are price sensitive. So there's some folks that don't want to see the price go up. Even the ones deciding what the prices are. Yeah, there's other folks accepting the reality that games budgets are increasing and there's tariff for the retail packaging. And it's getting gnarly out there. You guys, Borderlands 4 has more than twice the development budget of Borderlands 3. More than twice! Oh my god! Why Borderlands 4 is so awesome? Because you guys showed up and supported Borderlands 3 and we had the budget, so we could more than double the budget of Borderlands 4 and feel confident in that, and that's awesome! When the revenue comes, we could spend it to make better, bigger games and better games! Well, it's twice the budget! Well. Randy Pitchfork. Yeah, I gave up. It's your mistake to spend twice the budget on Borderlands 4. That was your huge mistake, because Borderlands 3 is not worth the budget you spent on it. I would say Borderlands 2 was worth it, Borderlands 3 not so much. So now you want us to cover for your mistake. That's not gonna happen. Some people will. I don't dispute that, but I definitely won't. How that will work out for him, we don't know. But this is your problem, Randy. You should have thought about it. You should have taken the woke parts out. You should have made a better game. You should have taken out all of this stuff that irritated players. And you should have made a better game. Well, actually, you should have looked at the Expedition 33 developers. Or Schedule 1. Or other people around that, well, that price range. And how successful they are. You should have focused on that one. You can actually make a good game. A long, beautiful, nice, and emotional game. With possibly a third or a fourth or a fifth of the budget that you have for Borderlands 4. God. Run the pitchfork. This is on you. Don't try to make it worse by opening your mouth. And secondly, remember, you're not paying for cheap productions in the 90s. Those things were actually very expensive back then. Today, you have to pay for, 30% for Steam. Maybe the publisher if you're publishing it using a publisher. But that's it. Everything else, the money goes to covering the production costs, and as soon as the production costs have been covered, everything else goes for you. Well, actually, for the company. But it's not like it was in the past. So, buddy, think things through! And yes, I am definitely not buying it, and that goes without saying. I already know it's going to be woke as fuck. Now, on that hellish hell, have a cheery bye.